And we got, come on, work with me, work with me, work with me. All right. We are using the motion censored camera again. Ay, ay, ay. Um, Hopefully you don't hear my wife in the background. She talks so loud. Hold on one moment. One moment. And we are back. Welcome to another episode of the Men of the House podcast. So, had to pause for the cause, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's that time of the evening, and to make sure everybody's getting ready, doing what they need to be doing as the evening winds down. So, happy Monday, because by the time you hear this, it is going to be Monday sometime for you. Unless, of course, you hear it on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, but hopefully you're hearing it on a Monday. And if you are, thanks for tuning in, spending your time with me. Yours truly. Part of me was like, I wanted to have this structure of interviews on Mondays, solos on Fridays, Unfiltered Fridays, but I really just have not had the time to do interviews on Mondays. A lot like whenever I was doing the caregiving for Buck. I think I did like some Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I did like caregiving chronicles, my story, whatever it was. But nonetheless, I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, well, you know, I pay to host a certain number of hours and record a certain number of hours per month. And I need to utilize them. One, two, I have the most for interviews, that is. But the other part is inflation. Everything has kind of gone up. And so, in an effort to stay in the current plan, we'll just we're staying there. Come on. No. Yeah, track with me. Grabbing my water seemed to be yeah. This motion censored stand here has a little mind of its own. Likes to do its own thing in a weird sort of way. Hmm. Oi. We're just in all sorts of shambles here. Hold on, hold on. And we're back for a third time. Sometimes it's just like that, man. Oi, oi, oi. You ever lose something? Oh, no, no, don't do that to me. Come on. The water problem, the water jug. We're going to have to come up with a better solution. So, I thought I lost something earlier that I had on my desk, and I remember seeing it. And I'd moved my laptop over here so I could access it during this conversation. Come on, you. Oh, no. Light. All right, you're going to be turned off. You're going to stay in a fixed position because we're tired of you. Yeah. All right. We are back in focus. All right. Welcome to another episode of the Men of the House podcast. We're trying this for a third time. It has been one of those trying to get started. Um, Everything from my wife, you might hear her in the background, to I thought I lost something and was running around the house like a mad person, thinking, you know, it's not about the item. It's about going, no, I know I had it. I know I'm not going crazy. And retracing your steps. Then I go to pee. It's there in the bathroom. And like in a place that I never access. I'm like, how did he get there? Yeah. And then I'm trying to set up lighting in here and, you know, was going to use a motion censored stand, which I think I used last time, but it seems to be attracted to light. And so, and then I kept like getting up and walking out. So it ended up being like here, there, everywhere. And so we are now in the fixed position, ready for takeoff. And every time I would get a drink of water, boom, here came the problems. So let me go back over what I was saying because I don't know how much of this y'all got, how much I'm, you know, edit, because this is attempt number 3. But what was I initially talking about? Oh, so originally I like to do interviews on Monday, unfiltered Fridays, solos. However, I'm in a very busy time of life at the moment, pursuing my end of life doula certification, etc., etc. So, I don't have a lot of time to make and post clips. Um, but I was like, I'm still paying for X amount of hours to be recorded and released um, on the host site. And just like everything else has gone up, if I were to cancel it, and I'm kind of grandfathered in at the same price. So we don't want to undo that, because I was in the process of canceling subscriptions, this, that, and the other, if that makes sense. You go through and you're like, what am I using? What am I not? CapCut, you know, they, the main reason I paid for Pro was because they had a shorts, long to shorts, and it would spit out nice shorts, but they went totally AI and took away the clip feature. So I'm like, meh, no longer need to do that. But I was dragging my feet for a while. But I canceled that and a few other things. Getting mentally and digitally and financially organized, if that makes sense. Sometimes you got to do that. But I have the hours, and I'm like, hey, just like when I was caring for Buck, similar pace. I was caring for Buck, preparing for a 22 miler, the Mammoth March. And yeah, I'm in pursuit of a certification. Still want a podcast, still working, still Ubering, still got a lot going on. Yeah. But I'm back on the PPT, which is my peak performance tracker. And that is basically tracking what do I do for a day that matters. You know, what do I do for a day that matters? What are the things that are going to move the needle? Well, let's take a look. Let's see. If you want to know what I track every day, connecting with people, green, yellow, red. Um, CEOLD, which is certified end of life doula. Mental health. How's my marriage? Green, yellow, red. Both of those. Then I track like how many clients we have, end of life clients, people we care for. And then we have what I'll be offering, Good Life, Good Death cafes, how many of those I have scheduled, and then PMP scheduled. Then family gross daily income. And then this is kind of where we get to the five things I need to do that move the needle. One is going to be journaling, and then another is listening to one form of self improvement podcast. I usually have one, NLU, first thing in the morning. It's loaded up on YouTube because I watch it every day. They release an episode every day. They're 15 to 20 minutes, not overly long. I can journal, stretch, and get it in. Then I have 45 minutes of exercise and then 1 hour towards my certification and or business development, and then a meaningful social media post. And with the meaningful social media post, you know, instead of clips, I figure I can do one good post a day, put some thought into that, or whatever's amusing me, maybe for a minute. But the idea is mostly to do it daily, just the same way I used to schedule clips. And I used to schedule sometimes one per day, but two per day. But no different than if I just turn on record on the edits and then blast it out. Similar thing, only I'm not making clips. I'm not having to pay for a clip generator. I could do with Opus clips. You would have to pay for better, you know. CapCut had this one version on my iMac. It didn't do it because it was the older operating software, but on my other MacBook, it would throw out captions too and hashtags. Man, it did it all. So I really enjoyed it there for a while. Like everything else in the world, things seem to have gone. Mm-hmm. Yeah, CapCut went totally AI focused, and if you're into trying to create AI shit, then I guess that would be good for you. But I'm not an AI guy. I'm not going into the AI business. Um, it is a tool, but at the end of life, you're gonna want me there, not a robot. Okay, maybe you can be hooked up to a machine. They can be monitoring some stuff, but you're gonna want to have your conversations with me. You're gonna want to connect to another soul. Boom. All right. So this week, let's see. Today was I didn't deliver. Got some sleep. I took somebody, gave them a ride to go donate plasma, and then went and visited my father. Then I ran some errands. What did I do? I gassed up for the week because gas was 333 amidst this conflict we got going on, filling it at the pump. Then I went to the gym, filled up my water jugs that we make ice with, and our ice maker, and got me a walk in. Now, had to walk in jeans. I feel like Truett Haynes. For those of you who don't know, that is Cameron Haynes' son. He runs marathons in jeans. Yeah. I think he holds like a pull up record as well. But good stuff. Good stuff. Cameron Haynes. into the outdoors, into nature, hunting, running, God, faith, truth. So let's see. Now we're back to. I used to keep a little. I keep a little journal, or you have your reminders. I have a list. What did I want to? What are we taking off the list? Boom. Old stuff. Old stuff. Hmm. Wow. No, these are old reminders. Hmm. Here's an old one. You don't go to a business coach when you're attempting to achieve peace. See, I visit for 20,000. Hmm. Mm. Boom. All right. Probably one of the things I learned this week was listening to Chris Williamson's Modern Wisdom with I think it's maybe it was Michael Smoak, Smoak. That's the last name, or maybe his first name is Christopher. I don't know. But he said something to the a tune of, I guess growing up an only child makes it difficult to lean on someone without feeling less than. And that kind of really resonated with me in that, growing up as an only child, you don't have like a sibling to lean on to, I guess, share the experience with, if you will. Even if it's just having a reference point of parents. Like my wife has three siblings, and she's like, you know, when we're with them, um, they're all adopted. So she's like, the four of us, we have them as a reference point. That's what we share growing up in that environment. And I thought that was kind of neat. But as an only child, you don't have that. You are the reference point, the one and only. And I think it makes it a lot more difficult to open up, talk, reach out, lean on people when you need help, even though a lot of people are willing to help. And like I said, I think I've mentioned before that some people make careers out of helping. They're waiting to help their whole profession. EMTs. I mean, I did it, emergency medicine. So, yeah, I mean, the same way I Uber. I had to deliver. It's potting soil season right now. So, this is not an ad for Scott's, but I've been delivering a lot of fucking Scott's. If that's the stuff, the weed and feed, Monsanto. I don't want to get mixed up in that. uh, the men of the house, his 2013 Honda went out of control. They took over via AI because he was talking about delivering weed and feed. Yeah, that's a good, a nice little conspiracy. I go, gonna get a little laugh out of that, but sometimes I need a laugh too. Um, yeah. So I need to text my daughter here. Shower. You need to shower. Because guess who needs to shower after M- yours truly? Yeah. So yeah, working out in jeans, not optimal. Growing up an only child, not optimal for leaning on people. Um, all right. All right. Also, everyone, thanks for spending some time with me. One thing you can't get back. I've gotten more downloads this week, so I'm very thankful of that. Um, means that we're reaching people in places that we never reached before. Whenever I was kind of looking at the locations I always looked at, there was South America had zero. There were some places that just had very few. And my my daughter sends me this image. I don't know what it is. She's made this marshmallow blob, Ghostbusters looking kind of. It looks like that, but it it comes out, and I guess it does expression. She sends me texts, which I can see on the screen um, as I sit here and record this. But this is good. It'd be good to record a true visceral laugh of things that make me happy. And they're short lived and small, but fleeting, we'll take them nonetheless. But also with that interview, kind of one of the things that he talked about was that he talked about posting like what is he inspired by, and it could be anything. And he said his most viral videos, like maybe I'm reviewing an Oreo flavored Coke Zero. He goes my most viral video, but he's like more or less just talking about the art of posting daily, sort of, but also doing what you like. He talked about spending 7 months before his dad passed away and recording those conversations, recording them on a podcast because that is something I want to offer with as an end of life death doula. Um, so I thought it was really neat. But similarly, he had mentioned weight loss, and it kind of spoke to me in a sense that my journey has been I was laid off, and all these different things have happened since then. But I had my identity wrapped up in one place, and I was overweight and drinking. I quit drinking and lost a bunch of weight, and I've always been a foodie. Um, you know, I'm a Cancer. I love long walks on the beach, long hikes, as noted by the number of hiking style marathons that myself and my friend have done. So, Michael Smoak. Yeah, that's his name. Um, yeah, I got long walks on the beach. Kind of had a brain fart. Forgot where I was for a moment. Um, but yeah, it's so the range of topics to post about, talk about, vary. What do you know about It's like, what do you know? What is your topic? Who are you trying to reach? Who is your avatar? Yada yada yada. And trying to get something off the background screen there. But, what is this podcast about? It's about navigating the chaos of everyday life. What inspires me? What's going on? I mean, ultimately, you're born, a bunch of shit happens to you in between. Some of it's good, a lot of it's bad. Some of it molds you into the person you are, and we end up somehow, some way, with a purpose and or cause that we fight for, believe in. Um, for me, everything is family centric and service centric and showing up when it matters centric for those who have no one. Um, nobody should die alone. That's how this all started. And taking care of Buck, pursuing the certification, wanting, in the process of starting this, once I get the certification, I'm only a couple of weeks out. I'm watching like one of the last modules. Mm, I actually stopped the module to record, because I'd been at it for an hour, like I said, tracking. And I wanted to get this done. And I need to shower. I should spend an hour with my wife. I think I worked late last night. Ubering. Yeah. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of work, not balancing greatly. Is today? Oh, today is Sunday. Yeah. See, brain fart. I almost felt like it was Saturday. But it's Monday for you guys. So what else? Let's see. I don't have my glasses here. Limited time is going. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah. All right. That's it for the reminders. Nothing good was there. But one of the interesting things I did see is I think I've talked about it before. This whole look mac maybe you've heard it. Looks maxing. And then today I come across an article about Nona maxing. I'm like, oh my gosh. Now we're just fucking maxing everything. It's kind of like a suffix or prefix, or somebody much smarter than me can tell me what it is when they're blending a word. Um, I guess behaviors that grandmas have that keep them healthy. Maybe Italian grandmas. But it was catchy, and it's in the current times. Made me click. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll take that. I'll take the entertainment. I'll take the entertainment value over something terrible. How about that? How about that? The world is crazy. We know this. Everything's vying for your attention. We know this. I'm out here. I just want to be a value add um, both in words and in service. And I'm out there doing it as daily as I can. And I'm going to work on the words, posting, getting everything up and started so I can be in the hands on. And oh, there it was. Is Nona maxing the key to longevity? What we can learn from Italian grandmas. Yeah. Oi, oi, oi. Yeah. I was explaining to my daughter, I forgot what it was. And I said something, and she's like, I go, well, because I read the news. And she's like, of course you do, because you're old. And I'm like, well, I think more or less, I would like to think I'm trying to be informed. I'm not old. And I gave her my thought process. I said, hey, when I manage people, it was like, hey, I had to wake up, check the local news. What schools are closed? What roads are closed? Did a tornado touch down in the middle of the night? Um, Now I got to wake up and make sure there's a damn world left, you know? And, you know, she's 12 and we're like, the talk we're having, the discussion is, I told her, things are biased. I go, if CNN is one side, Fox is the other. I go, the truth is probably somewhere in between. And I think I told her about ground news, which my buddy Andrew uses. And I want to say that's also maybe Chase Hughes, NCI University. Maybe that's who they use. Um, that I've seen. The code shows which way the article leans, how many times it's been accessed, who's the source. That's what you always got to look at. Who's the source? Where does the money go? Who does it favor? Who is it trying to favor? What message is it trying to convey? For what reason? Mm. Yeah, if every article you look through, you have to look at that, then man, it's best not to look at the articles at all. Best to stay focused on your PPT, your peak performance tracking. You're on the shit that's actually going to move you somewhere. But that was it. That was for me to be informed. Um, now I usually start with a morning podcast and journaling. So much better than the news. But I would still like to get better at no phone, like maybe first hour of the morning. But I still kind of have that habit of wanting to feel informed. Maybe that's a habit I need to break. What do I need to be informed about? What's that has to do with me, right? And the important people can get through. So, hmm, yeah, maybe that sounds like a sound goal. No phone the first hour of the morning. Maybe I'll start tracking it. Hmm. I don't know though. Because then, like, if that's the time when you fill out your PPT, then technically it's like you could be on the laptop, which could kind of be considered something productive and or phone related. because you could sneak into your inbox, you could sneak over to the mail. But is the goal like to wake up, have a little informative leisure, and then get the day going? Because I kind of consider journaling, self improvement, stretching, and all that more as, you know, but it's kind of like a habit. You wake up, got to go to the bathroom first thing in the morning. Maybe that's your alarm clock, and you want to look at your phone. I guess I could go old school and put a bookcase next to the toilet. I don't think anybody sells magazines anymore. Something different. Yeah. Anywho, TMI. Or is it? Because just like death, we all do it. So, all right. That's a wrap, folks. I hope if it's Monday, have a good Monday. If you're hearing this, and regardless of what day it is, I hope you have a good day. Check back here Mondays, Fridays. Um, this too shall pass. I will get the certification. I will have things up and running at some point. Maybe I can resume interviewing. But stick around, follow the journey. Um, yeah, follow me along the journey. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the process with me. You can see a death duel in the making. So here we are. Until next time, go out and be the person that you want to meet.